All right, welcome everybody. We'll get started here in about 2 minutes. Hopefully the audio, you can hear me okay. If you let me know in the comments that you can hear the audio, that would be great. And then I'll put the music back on and we'll get started in a few minutes. Thank you. All right, welcome everybody to Stock Analysis Fridays. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com, and I want to welcome everybody here. If you're watching the recording, welcome as well. All right, go ahead and start typing in your stocks and ETF symbols. Do that in caps for me, please. And I will look those up. So if you have something you're thinking about, or maybe you're in and you want to kind of look at where maybe your stop should be set for exiting the trade, type those babies in and do that in the comments area, and I'll look that up. All right, let me go through a few administrational items first. And of course, that includes talking about the risks in trading the financial markets. You know, pretty much anytime you get involved in any financial decisions, there's a risk, right? So what we try to do is, A, know what we're getting into, know the risks, and know what's possible. And also then learn how to protect it as best as possible. You can never take the risk 100% out of trading, but we certainly try to limit our downside as much as we possibly can. And so first thing to do is acknowledge that there are risks in trading the financial markets. It's possible to lose some or all your money trading. You can always have some unexpected event that comes along that you weren't anticipating. And so you need to be careful about that and always trade with money you can afford to risk. That's how you fight that. That's called risk capital. And then when you take a trade, each trade has the possibility of not working the way you want it to. So it could end up as a loss there too. And so you want to anticipate if the worst case scenario comes and you get stopped out, how much you're going to lose. So you need to calculate your trade size because that's what controls that. How many contracts of a particular option or a futures market you trade, or how many shares of a stock or ETF you buy or sell. That's how you control the amount of loss possible, as well as the gain on each and every trade. And I go into great details on that in some books, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But then again, also past performance does not guarantee future performance. We work in a realm of probabilities. So sometimes we do everything right, but still possibly can lose some money, all right? And so it is a probability game, so to speak. All right, and then finally on the stocks we look at, my recommendations. These are my opinions based on my analysis. So you need to run those by your financial advisor or whoever manages your money, because I don't know your personal situation and they do. And a lot of factors come into effect determining if you should trade a market or not. In other words, buy or sell a market. So definitely check with them first, okay? Really important. All right, and here's some books that I think may help you on money management. I've got 2 of them up there. You can check those out. I'll put the links in the recording down below the video in the description area, so make sure you see that. I also got a new book coming out, The Art of Trading, 2nd edition. Pretty excited about that. Put a lot of effort into that. It's going to be one of our best books, I think, and very pertinent to today's market conditions. And also, too, we've introduced quite a few software since our 1st edition came out in 2008. So a really good book. I think you can pre-order that as well, and I'll put the link below there. Elliott Wave Trading Techniques. If you love the Elliott Wave, that's a form of technical analysis. I use it all the time. I consider it the roadmap of the markets. And it tells you what market cycle things are in, and it assigns numbers to waves and things like that. And I'll probably talk a little bit about that when I look at stocks today. And then the Survival Guide for Traders is a comprehensive book on trading the financial markets from your home. So it teaches you what you need to know in order to basically almost like run your own hedge fund out of your house. So that is available as well. All books published by major publishers for the most part. We've got Wiley on The Art of Trading, McGraw-Hill on Elliott Waves. We did self-publish the Money Management for Traders book, second from the right. What we did is condensed our more comprehensive book into that. And so a lot of traders love that because it's a simple read, but very effective. All right, so those are our books. Software, we leave no rock unturned when it comes to our software. Our software, I think, is the best, the absolute best in the markets. It looks at price patterns across a dynamic amount of time frames. We have indicators for stops. We have indicators for entries. We have confirmation indicators. So you kind of, when you go into a trade, you're going into it with the highest possible probability of the edge, okay? Then we have scanners below called the multiple time frame scanner, trade confirmer, turbo, and Elliott Wave. And these basically dissect the market to look for the best trades because, you know, in stocks, we have what? You know, thousands, 10,000, over 10,000 stocks. And so how do you go through those and find the best trade? The answer, the scanners, right? And then we have risk control software at the bottom because if you don't have good risk control, guess what? It's going to be hard for you to be profitable in this business because not every trade wins. All right, so you have to control those risks on the downside. And then we have something called the Trader's Assistant, which analyzes your trades and gives you your win ratios and your payoff ratios. And from there, you can see what kind of adjustments you may need to tweak in order to become more profitable. We call this the ultimate trading system because we try to cover all the bases possible in order to deliver a system that's robust and comprehensive. And then we back it up every week with free client support webinars where if you have any questions on the software you purchased or want to even learn how to use it, every week you can come to those seminars, and I do them personally, and we'll teach you how to do it. So we don't leave you stranded, so to speak, right? So many times you buy software and then you know, you're on your own. We don't do it that way, okay? We're different, all right? This is what's made us so successful over the years is that we've been able to offer that kind of support, and our clients love it. So anyway, consider that. All right, then finally, please give us a like here. We need them, okay? Likes apparently get us more views and get us out there, and the more people we have coming here, the better it really is for all of us, because the more stocks we can actually go through, then the more chances we have of finding one that's really good and also being able to help you decide what you want to do on those, right? So that's kind of important. All right, so we're great to have you here. We do this every Friday, all right? So definitely tune in with us. All right, so let's get rid of that and go into the charts. And we've got a whole bunch coming in. Let me just go through USO before I start going in this. And the first one I can see, excellent, Al. Okay, we'll take a look at those. All right, so let me just go through this. This is USO, but before I go through this, just a quick summary of what you're looking at here. I've got 3 charts loaded, and I'm using NinjaTrader charting platform. Our software is compatible with NinjaTrader, TradeStation, multi-charts, e-signal, MT4, MT5, and we try to cover all the bases by programming our software for the best charting platform. So this is NinjaTrader, and up the top we have our scanners running, but we're not going to be using those today because you're going to be giving these symbols. And then at the bottom, notice I have 3 charts. And let's just see. You see this one says USO, that one says USO, and this one says USO. So I happen to have typed in the ETF for crude oil, which is USO. And on this chart, I've dissected the USO stock into 3 time frames. So I've got a 60-minute time frame here, and this is giving me a quick short-term look. Now, when I say 60 minutes, what does that mean? Well, it means that every price bar you are looking at on that chart is an hour long, 60 minutes. And we consider that a fairly small time frame when we're taking position trades. Now, notice on the daily chart, okay, I have a look at the intermediate aspect of USO, and every price bar represents a full day. So this would be kind of a normal chart you would see whenever you go into a website or open a magazine and they show you a chart. It's usually a daily chart. And then on the far right-hand side, I got the weekly chart, which is a longer-term look at the market. And every price bar on that chart represents 5 trading days, the full week of trading days. So that's why they call that a weekly. So it takes a lot of the noise out of the market and can give us a clearer picture when things aren't so clear, maybe on the lower time frames. And then before we take a trade, we like to kind of see if everything is in sync among the time frames. So it's a very efficient way to make the timing of a trade more accurate as well as the exit. All right, so let's take a look at USO. So as you know, I'm bullish on USO. I have been. Okay, we had a nice top here, a pullback, profit taking, and now I think we're on the way into this target zone here. So my target for crude oil short term, like over the next 6 months or so, is between roughly $100 and $128. Actually says 98.68 for the price here. And notice that we have those blue lines are fib extension lines, by the way, but we drew some retracement. See this little area here? Okay, we had a nice move up, and then we anticipated a retracement here, because 70% of the time, roughly, all right, the wave, the profit-taking waves end in that area, and then they rebound, and that's what we're seeing now. So we kind of anticipated that. So we're liking this. We got a buy on this again, okay, and have had an earlier buy here, but took it off while the thing was coming down a little bit. But now we've got green, 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 no red, so you're good to go. So USO, we want to put on the list as a good one. So I want to share that one this morning. And the other thing about USO, since it does represent crude oil, is if you're experiencing some pain at the pump, so to speak, when you fill your car up, this is an excellent way. If you purchase this, this may be an excellent way for you to combat those increases at the pump, because you'll make money on the trade as oil goes up. All right, so food for thought. You can talk to your financial advisor about that and, of course, see what they think. All right, now let's jump into the ones you want to look at. So I've got those up at the screen, ARKK. Let's take a look at ARKK. And it looks to me like you're short or considering a short. All right, so let me just take a look here at the different time frames and see what we got cooking. Well, I certainly can understand why short is the way you want to go. My only problem is that so far, if you look at the weekly chart here, all right, the only thing is this bottom, all right, may hold, okay? So we may come down and get a reversal. So if your short is going to be taken, chances are you want to make it on a smaller swing, shorter time frame. So this is good. This is good. All right. But you have to put your stops at the designated areas. And what I recommend, because I know you have our software, is use our pyramids. OK, use the pyramids for the stops. Now, with that said, I don't think I'm going to recommend this one because I'm not sure exactly where the target is. All right. Usually when I go into a trade, okay, it's nice to know where your stop is, but where is this thing going? Do we have a bottom, a basing here? And are we going to go up, or are we going to go down one more time? All right, and it's kind of hard to tell until the market actually makes a significant break. And I do agree that it looks like it's breaking to the downside. And the only thing I can think about this is if this is a 3, 4, maybe a 5 here. Let's just see. It could be an ABC, but let's just for fun go in here and see. See, we're kind of almost in a target area for a move down on the smaller time frame. So I would have liked you to get in way in here earlier, up here, or even here before coming down and getting in now. So I'm not going to put this one on the buy list, but if you're short, just have your stop at these pyramids and you'll be okay. You'll get as much juice as you can. It does look like it's going to make another low, but the PTF is only indicating the low below today's price bar. So not much help. All right. All right. Alexander says screen is fuzzy. Okay. Our screen is fuzzy. Is it fuzzy? Okay. I'm getting feedback that the screen is okay. So Alexander, you must have a fuzzy screen on your end. So maybe restart your computer and see if that helps. Okay. All right. Al says, no, it's not fuzzy. It's okay. At least I think that's what you mean by that. Okay. All right. Good. So not fuzzy. All right. Let's take a look at BLNK. BLNK. Al, good job today. All right. So, you know, all these are short. The problem is, Al, is that they're also close to a bottom. Doesn't mean you can't get more profit out of this, but it's kind of a little bit of Russian roulette because here's the problem. All right. You got bullish divergence here. You got it here. All right. You're even starting to see it in here. You no longer have red here, no longer have red here, and you have a yellow here. Yellow is neutral on this, and this is called the PTF, by the way. So this is neutral here. Okay. So when that's neutral, it's neutral. All right. And you have an active pyramid, so you don't want to go long, but your stop is here. But I'm thinking you're close to a bottom, my friend. I would not go into this at all. All right. Are you short this now? And if so, how long? Because if you've been short for months on this, then you're, you know, in very good profitable territory. So you want to use those stops on the pyramids. So when you see these pyramids here, folks, like this, basically this is where, you know, if you go in here, your stop is here. Okay, that's the deal. So if you got in on an earlier pyramid, then that's even better. Okay, so I'm not going to recommend it, but actually, once this bottoms, it might even be not a bad long trade at some point. All right, let's take a look at C. C, I believe, is Citibank, right? All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so you got green PTFs on the 60-minute, which is the far left chart, and the weekly, which is the far right. All right, okay, so you're just looking at these. Again, you got bullish divergence in the owl. This is the owl up here that measured momentum. So you got bullish divergence on all 3 time frames with a green PTF. So I wouldn't go long on this, but at this particular point, again, I think these are close to a bottom. All right, let's take a look at EDIT. EDIT. You know, finding good stocks is a lot like finding that needle in the haystack. You know, it is a stock picker's market for sure, and always is. All right, there's always stocks that are either doing better than the overall market or going with the market or even doing worse. So you got to pick out the ones that are best for you to trade. All right, EDIT. All right. Again, I can't disagree with the fact that you want to be short, but the problem is that it's already been selling off for so long, you're getting in too late, I think, to make much profit left on that. So I wouldn't do anything with that. GE, let's see what, now a lot of these that sold off, you know, you can keep those on a watch list because when they get to a bottom, they'll be a good buy, right? So don't forget that. All right, so GE is not selling off. It has rallied, but it is pulling back right now. So you had this big impulsive wave up here, and now you've got some profit taking here. So it is selling off here. Let's see where a possible target is on this particular movement down. And for that, let's grab some fib retracements. I'm even going to go right about there on this bad boy and put that right there. So I'm thinking that this is going to pull back to this area here. And that's between $96.50 all the way down to 83, and we're at 105. And then after it gets here, it should rebound and go back up. All right. So I'll let you make the decision on whether you want to go short there. But if you do go short, please put your stop, up at this level here, because you need to keep it far enough away so any volatility that can be experienced on the profit-taking stage that we're on now, you won't get stopped at. All right. So this could be a valid, a possible short trade. My only problem with this is the risk to reward. So if you go in here and your stop is up here, which is really one of the closest parts you could put it, then you almost got a 1-to-1, right? I like to make sure my risk is 1 and my profit potential is at least 2. So it doesn't fit my formula. All right. So I personally would not take this. All right. So and I think a stop on the 60-minute chart on the pyramid here, all right, will not, may stop you out if you get any pullback on the longer time frames. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. So that's a GE. All right. KEY, Key Corp. Let's take a look at that bad boy. Okay, not a bad one in terms of it's definitely displaying a pattern. I kind of like this pattern. I like it when you reach a bottom and then you get this sideways motion for a while, because that usually indicates that maybe this is a significant bottom and we'll get something like that. All right, it's too early to go into it. My only problem with this one is that the long-term chart is got a red PTF. So that indicator, see here, this one here, don't forget, this has a 75% probability of success. So when it's red, it's calling for, you basically find the lowest price bar in that red area, which is the bottom. And it's basically saying there's 75% probability we're going to take that bottom out. So I would not go long on this. But now back to your question, because you're basically asking about short positions. You probably could take a short, but what do we have to do? Figure out where the target is for this. Well, that's a tough one. All right, kind of a messy market, goes back to about the mid 1990s. All right, so it looks like we're going down here a little further. So the PTF target's pretty close to where prices are now. So that lowest low here is right here. So that's not really a good target zone right now. Elliott wave, I'm trying to see if that's helping us. We had a big move up, big move down, so there's no impulsive there. Let's see if we have any type of possibility for a retracement that makes sense. Maybe here is a possible retracement, and if that's the case, then let's see where the extension puts us. Okay, and we're not too far from the extension either, so I don't think so. All right, I think there's better ones you can find out there. So I'm going to say no to this one. All right, sorry about that, Al. All right, but no to that one, key. All right, let's take a look at KR, which I think is what, Kroger or something? Yeah, okay. So we'll take a look at that one. All right, so red PTF right away on the 60-minute chart. We see some selling down here. We got red across the board. Okay, so let me open up this, and this is kind of an interesting thing. This is where having the right tools can help you, and also if you're an Elliott wave person, this owl is really good, because basically this owl is higher than this one. So normally you would think this is a 3, this is a 4, and this is a 5, and the trend is over. Okay, however, this is higher than this one, so this actually is the 3. Okay, so all this stuff in here is all part of 3. So on a bigger picture. So it's probably at this point going into a 4. And so you have to give this thing enough room to come down, I think, before getting into it. So I'm going to put this here and come here. So we're getting closer to that target. So that target, we're at 44. The target starts at 41.21 all the way down to 27. So if it gets deep into the target, then you'll do really well on this trade. If it's shallow, you won't. So This is one you possibly could take. Again, I'm not so sure. Let's see what the PTF target is on that. That's 42.5. So you're probably good for at least 2 points. Okay. The question is, you got to put that stop up here. And even see it here, you might come here and then drop down. So you got to be a little careful on this. So you've got a green owl here. That's going to keep me from recommending it because I need to see this thing come down a little bit with some more bearish divergence before I'd recommend it. But out of all the short trades, this one probably has the highest probability of making you some money versus the others that I don't think would be that good. Okay. So that's just, again, this is my opinion based on my analysis. All right, let's take a look at SHOP, S-H-O-P. All right, let me bring this bad boy down here and see what we got. Okay, so you've got a lot of red here. You think you've got red here in the owl, yellow, yellow, red. Okay, so you don't want to take a long position. And you do have a situation where you're coming down here. Let me open up this chart for a minute. Okay, so tough one here. All right, this was a big move up that might have been a 3, but this retracement was way too deep. So this is probably a 1, a 2. And now you have to be careful because if this is 3, that's going to exceed 1 and get really high. Let me just go back to that shorter time frame with the red. So the red PTF here, notice here, I mean, we're almost at the PTF target. Do you see that? So that's the lowest low is this price bar here. We're there. Okay. So that's not really helping us too much and giving us confidence for a short trade in terms of going much further. So is it possible to, I think basically we could go a little further, but again, tough time on figuring if this is a bottom and we may just be pulling back to an inflection point. So let me just open this up one more time. And as you can see, if this is a bottom, this is the first big move up. And if this is a 1, a 2, then this could be a 1, 2, and a 3, a 4, and a 5 inside a wave 3, okay, roughly speaking. So you got to be careful if you go short to recognize when the short trade is done and the prices are going to go again. Now, is it possible that we could have one more low here? Anything is possible, certainly is, but I think this is a wave 2, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's a bottom. All right, so I think you may be in the pullback of that. I'd keep this on the watch list. I don't think I'm going to recommend it because, it's just I'm not sure of the target zone. I don't have a lot of confidence in that. Okay, so that's where I am on that. All right, let's take a look at your last one, STEM. And this one again, while a short is where you want to be, I think entering the short now is more risky probably than if you had gotten in earlier. So that's my only problem with that. All right. And the PTF again on the 60-minute chart is indicating more lows, but it's pretty close. All right. Let's just run up a quick, not much history in this one either, is it? Okay. So we kind of only got this leg to the downside. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we could be close to a bottom here. Okay. You might get a little bit more movement to the downside, but I don't think too much. Okay. So I'm not going to recommend that. I think that was pretty much done. All right. But thank you for sharing those. Okay. That's what it's all about here. All right. Let me go back up and keep going here. All right. Peter, let's see what Peter has to say here. Do you have an upside target for the SQQ? All right, the SQQ is a triple inverse of the NASDAQ. So I love these when I think the market is going to sell off. And of course, as you all know, I do. All right. So the only problem with this is that I'm not really sure it's quite ready to do so. And this red PTF here is telling me that the bottom is not in. Okay, now that doesn't mean we can't go up a little ways. We could go up here, okay, before it falls down. So I guess what I can give you is a possible short-term target here. And see where I want to put that. I think I may want to put that here. So maybe around 26 to 32 is possible on this swing up. But as long as that PTF remains red on the center chart, which is the daily chart, then that indicates that this is going to go down again. So when we take a look at the overall market, that may mean that, and we do think the NASDAQ's going to keep going up for a while. I don't think the market's quite ready to do a major sell-off yet, but I think it's getting closer with every month that goes by. So I'd be a little careful on this. Now, if that PTF changes to green, then that changes the whole ballgame. All right, but for right now, it's pretty solidly red, and there certainly has not been enough oomph in the market here on the NASDAQ yet to change that. And I do think there's going to be more highs on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is more powerful than the Dow. And you can thank your Google stocks, your Meta stocks, your Amazons, and all the stocks that have done well, even in a crisis situation, because people use those for basically shopping everything today, so to speak, looking up information. So NASDAQ stocks are pretty much holding their own because of that capability they have, whereas other stocks and other indexes aren't as strong, even if we get a recession, so to speak. All right. So that's kind of where I'm at now. So I'm not thinking the Qs yet are quite ready to take off, but I do think you could possibly get a little bit of movement up because currently, the markets are, responding to, every time Powell speaks, and also to responding, that's interest rates, obviously, but also responding to what's going on in the Middle East right now. So we may see, as those things are still affecting things, you may see the markets, this move up, because of course that's causing fear in the overall markets. But as long as this is red, it's showing that this fear could be temporary. All right. So that's kind of the point I'm trying to make with that, but very good. All right. Now a downside target for the Qs. Okay. The actual QQQs, and let's bring that up for a second. So this was the inverse, and now we're going to go with the regular. Okay. And here's the green PTF sitting here. Look at this, and here. Okay, that's a big deal. That shows that we're not done going up on a longer horizon. This is red now, so we're coming down. But you see, we're in this target area for a regular pullback. All right, so we came up, pulled back, and this indicator and this indicator are saying after this draft down is done, we're going back up. All right, so it makes sense to what the inverse is saying on the SQQQ. Okay, so when you get both the inverse and the regular market in alignment, which this is what it is, that's a good signal. So I don't think we have yet a big move on the SQQ coming with this type of bullishness still left in the NASDAQ market. All right, but thank you, Peter, for sharing that. Excellent. All right, so let's keep going on. We got fuzzy monitors. We got, let's see, keep going on here. All right, Stu, how are you, Stu? All right, so ND, let's try over here. NDAQ. Let's see what we got on that bad boy. So do me a favor, if you give me a stock, let me know if you're in it, not in it, thinking about it. And of course, if you're in it, let me know if you're long or short, but that type of thing. That way I can kind of give you some specific help based on what you're doing with it or not doing with it. All right, so strong green PTF here. So basically what this longer term market is saying here, okay, is that big move up, okay? No surprise there, right? So if we take a fib retracement, and what I usually do is try to find, like if this is a 1, then I draw my fibs from here to here. All right, so we just touched that target zone, but we still got a red owl here. This is green. So we should recover and go higher. So probably a 3 Elliott wave 3, for those of you that want to know what that is. A, broad base B, C. All right. And it looks like C, the length of C matched the length of A. So that's a good sign that wave 4 could be over. Let's see if the lower time frames have any red PTFs indicating otherwise. So this is not bad so far, and we don't have any red PTFs. I like that. And we have bullishness, quite a bit of bullishness on the 60-minute chart. You can see that here with the owl and this just turned green. All right, this could be a double bottom, bloop, bloop, for the most part. So, all right, now I'm going to go ahead and put this on the buy list. But I'm going to also let you know that I think I want you to put your stop, if you can, under this retracement level. So around 38.74 or 73. Just in case it takes another dip in, that may save you before it goes. All right. The reason I'm a little bit concerned is because this is still red, but with this so bullish, indicating higher highs, this now green, no more red here. I'm going to put you in early as I can. So I'm going to give you this one, NDAQ as a buy. Okay. So we found our needle in the haystack. All right. There it is. Okay. Good job, Stu. All right. Ford. Not hearing good things about Ford, right? Trouble with the electrical, especially the electrical trucks they're building. Not so good. All right. And then they got the union issue coming on, strikes. Okay. So, there it is. Okay. Interesting. A couple of things that's interesting. All right. We've got bearish pyramids, which are these triangular price pattern identifiers, so to speak, for trends, all pointing down, right? So we got a bearish one here, and a bearish one here. All right. So that is an indication that we have a move down in progress. When you look at those pyramids, think of them as high probability trend indication. And they also generate entries and stops based on the flat part of the triangle for your stop and the point of the triangle for your entry. So that also takes into account the fractal nature of the market that, or the pattern that produced that, and also takes into account basically the range based on the volatility that created that. So it's kind of a neat little indicator. All right, so if we look at that, it's pointing down. We got a red PTF on the short term. So it's still heading down, not done yet. We see some bullish divergence that could be generating. If we take this low out, we may have just taken a little bit here. Check out this green. Okay, so that's indicating that this thing should not go bankrupt. Many people thought Ford would go bankrupt, believe it or not. But I don't think so. All right, not unless that indicator gets changed to a red. So I'm thinking a little more pain on Ford. I wouldn't go short here. Okay, we may be close to a bottom, could come down, you know, a little bit further, of course. Maybe it'll go in the single digits. That's possible. All right, but it's also possible it could remain range bound here and then take off. So, you know, not exactly one that I would want to recommend long or short at this time. If you got in long before, because we did like it when it started bouncing off the bottom, just keep your stop at the bottom. All right. That way, if it gets really bad, it's time to leave. Otherwise, you stay with it and wait for that green PTF in the longer time frame to come to fruition, so to speak. All right, so that's kind of where I'm at now. So I'm not going to recommend that, but I did like your other ones too on NDAQ. All right, now thoughts on OKTA. Let's see, OKTA. Let's see what we got cooking on that bad boy. All right, give that a second to load. All right, so this one is interesting. All right, so you've had a big move up and a big move down. We go back to what, 2017 on this stock. So big move up, big move down. This cannot be an Elliott wave 4. It would have to be, if anything, a 2. All right. So the $1 million question is that a bottom? All right, possible. Okay. 82, are we just going to go up here and then sell off? Possible. All right. Pretty difficult to make a conclusive Elliott wave pattern on this, except for the 1-2 that I told you. So let's just see if, and try to be conservative, if all we get is a retracement trade on this, it's the target is 131 to 185. So that's still not too bad, right? We're at 82. So if this market, let's say you go long, you put your stop down here, all right, and it gets up to here, then we can reanalyze it to see if bearishness comes in, enough bearishness comes in to exit the trade or stay with it in case it moves on up. All right, so when we talk about retracement areas for targets, you kind of don't necessarily just want to exit when you reach there. Take another look at it and see if your analysis is the same when you first did it, indicating that it is a higher probability for a retracement trade than not. But if prices are still strong and continue through the retracement area, then that indicates that you want to stay with the trade, okay? Because it may be a different pattern unfolding. All right, so keep that in mind. We got green here, and we got a little red here. All right, so that's a little bit of a concern. So I don't think I'm going to recommend this one yet. I think we should take a look at this next week and put this on a watch list. And the reason why is because I think I'd like it to break out of this area here on the weekly chart. We're pretty close, okay? So I'd like it to break here. Because there's a little bearishness coming in and this is close to going red, we maybe see a little pullback before that happens. So I don't want to put you in here and then find out it's down here, because maybe we can, not have that happen for you and wait until the momentum comes back in and surges forward. So I'm going to kind of hold off on that, okay? All right, but I don't mind it in terms of one to keep an eye on. Okay, TA for a watch list. All right, let's see what we got. A lot of stocks coming in today. All right, so here we got Lowell. How are you, Lowell? CNK. Let's take a look at CNK. All right, so we got a green owl on the weekly chart. We got a green PTF also on the weekly chart. Green PTF on the daily. Red owls and pyramids pointing down on the 60, and we've got a red owl here. So I'm not going to recommend this one right now because the short-term movement is down, and it's not done yet, I don't think. All right, we are getting bearish divergence. This is green, good sign. But let's wait for this thing to turn around before we get too excited about it, okay? So let's look at that next week on that. All right, so don't do anything with that right now, okay? And if you are in it, okay, to the long side, make sure your stop is low enough, because if you are taking advantage of the green PTF for a long trade, your stop's got to be way the heck down here, okay? Because the short-term volatility is coming down. All right, Uber. Let's take a look at Uber. UBER. All right. So first thing I'm looking at is, all right, not much history, right, on the weekly chart. So it went up all the way down. But we do have a green PTF. So that green PTF has a high price bar of around 50. So we should get back into the 50s. Let's see what's going on short term. We've got a little profit taking coming in, see? And you can see it here. So you don't want to be long here or go long here, but if you are long, all right, and you traded up here, you'd be flat. But if you're using this pyramid for a longer term trade, it would be down here. So if you're thinking about going into this one, hold off, okay? Wait until this current move down is done. It's a little bit of profit taking, okay? All right, so that is BRSW. BI. Bullish on SWBI. Okay, so that is looking, things have changed a little bit on this one, right? Because we had a red PTF and now it's green. So that's a really good sign. All right, and it's broken above this nonsense here. So that's bullish, okay? There's no question about that. And that's why the PTF changed as well, the momentum changed. All right, question is, where is this going? Is this the best time to buy it? Okay, we got a little bit of a red owl here. Okay, so that's a little bit of a concern. This looks like maybe a significant bottom. This is a green PTF, so we should get pretty high on this. All right, so here's what I think could happen. It's very possible with a red owl on the short-term time frame to have a pullback to $13.30 to $12.51 before it goes higher. Okay, it's a little bit of a profit-taking short-term. All right. Because I'm bullish on this long term because of the PTF on the weekly chart, that doesn't bother me to pull back, 50 cents or a point on a long-term trade. So I'm going to put this down as a recommended one for a long term, not a short term, okay? Because short term it's pulling back. All right. So I like it. All right. And I think it's okay. Now, if you want to get a little bit better price, then check in with us next week and we may be down in this area here. And yeah, you may be able to get in for $1 less. But if you're talking about getting up to, $40 and it's $13.97 and you want it to go in now, put your stop low enough that you don't have to worry about any profit-taking pullbacks that we're in now, then that would be okay. All right, so I'm going to leave that up to you. So I'm going to put SBI as a good one if it's a long-term trade. Otherwise, wait a little bit, you'll get a better price, okay? Hopefully that helps. All right, let me come back up here. All right, Peter, okay, let's see what Peter's saying. Hello, Bennett. Hello, Peter. Okay, is today reminiscent of Friday, October 16, 1987? If we close on the lows, what's your downside target for the spider Q? Thank you. Well, again, I think I kind of answered that because I think my lows on the overall Dow, okay, is between, and this is based off my analysis, fib retracements, Elliott wave, taking into account the PTF indicators on the long-term charts and things like that. My low on the Dow is between 18,000 and 15,000 when the sell-off comes. My problem right now, and I just showed you, is that on the Qs and things like that on the NASDAQ, it's still not ready to sell off yet. Okay, maybe it will be in a month. Okay, it's hard to say. But the problem is that if the NASDAQ stays inflated, I think it will keep the Dow up there for the most part. And yes, I know it's market selling off a little bit today. But, for example, on the Dow, we need to get below 31,000 before we can really say the move down has legs. And I don't see that, we're not there yet. So a little premature to think that the sell-off is underway, so to speak. And of course, the charts I've shared with you have been basically saying this sell-off is not the big one. This is a temporary one and should be followed by bullishness returning. I don't think the high of the 2022 high on the Dow or the NASDAQ will be broken, but I do think you could see a little bit more in the, how the market's been roly-poly for a year. I think you could see a little bit more roly-poly before this thing moves down, okay? Hopefully that helps. All right, and again, that's my opinion. All right, so let's take a look, Eleanor, for you at SMCI. Okay, let's see what we can do there. There you go. Okay, so, oh, what a beautiful one, right? Check this out. This is one we did actually have on the recommended list. And okay, so what's it doing now? Well, you can see we've been looking at this thing. 3. All right, we're still in 3 because we don't have a red owl. We have to have a red owl for a wave 4. So either this is an A, B, C, and we'll get our red owl, and wave 4 will be done, or this is a minor wave 4, major wave 4 over here. Add this, all right? So we'll have to see. Now let's just do a couple quick things here and see what's cooking. All right, so the 60-minute chart is bearish, so we're coming back down. So it may indicate that the wave 4 is not quite done. Now, let me just anchor this thing at what I think is wave 2 before we had wave 3. I'm going to say it's right about here. Okay. All right. So we're still kind of working our way down in here. We hit it here. Okay. Is it possible to go back in? Sure. Before it goes like that? Absolutely. And that's what we got to be careful about, because that's what this is showing. We're still heading down. All right. So, is this a broad-based A? And if this is B, then C has got to be at least the length of A, right? Which is right about here to here. So that would put it deeper into here. All right. So I don't think I'd go long here. I think I'd hold off at this point. Okay. Overall, long term, if you have your stop set pretty far back and you just want to keep this as a buy and hold, all right, then you'll, just hang in there during this profit taking stage, and it should return and make more highs. But if you're a short term trader, then this is probably one you don't want to be long at quite yet. Okay, hopefully that helps. All right, let's take a look at GLW. GLW. All right, that's coming down still. A couple concerns on this. All right. So we had a red line here, and we went through that. Okay, that's bearish. All right. This is concerning. All right. If this bearish move does not turn around soon, there may be enough momentum to the downside to change that green PTF to red. And then that would be indicating that the long-term situation is more down than up, obviously. All right. So, basically, we got a red PTF and a red owl on the 1 minute, on the, not the 1 minute, daily. Get confused between day trading here. All right. And then on the 60 minute, we have red pyramids on, both the 1 minute. Actually, all 3 time frames have a red pyramid. So you don't want to go against that. Great short trade on the 60-minute chart at some point, but too late now to get in it. So on this here, it'll probably try to find a bottom pretty soon, but it's still going down, so I wouldn't buy it, okay? And that's GLW. All right, NYCB. NYCB. All right, so let's see what's going on this. All right, 60-minute chart still coming down. You can see that as well here, and you can see that pullback here. So profit taking only, green PTF. All right, looks like we may be getting close to a fib retracement on this. So let's dial that in. I would say you're probably already there. Yep, you're already there. Okay. Let's just see a long, big profit taking one could come down even further. Okay, so this is a point of inflection. We're pretty much at the 50% move off the lowest low and the most recent high. But, we still got a lot of red on the short-term chart. So basically, I wouldn't buy this. If you are holding on to this, you'll get another high, I think, all right, after this profit taking is over. And then at the next high, you may want to exit, okay? Play around with that and take a look at it then. So that's NYCB, all right? Let's take a look at Tesla, TSLA. TSLA. All right, so Tesla, a little bit of reeling, huh? Okay, so, all right, big move up, all right? And now big move down. We've got that move down still in place. All right, so let me just see. I think the fib retracement, let me just see if that was from previously. Yeah, that was from this here. So let's just see what we got here. I'm going to remove that altogether. And let's just see what we got. That's a pretty strong move down on the 60-minute chart. And let's see here. We've got an ABC. Okay, so here's what I think. All right, this is very possible for a 3, I would say a 4, and ABC, this is in 5. So this may be a pullback or profit-taking wave inside wave 5, which means that long-term bullishness is there, still there. All right, let's see if we can get kind of a area. So we're kind of in the target zone for a pullback here. This is kind of interesting here. Notice on this move down, we really didn't have a good ABC. So this is probably your A, this is probably your B, this is your C, and now we're probably same distance on A wave as C wave. So that's kind of where that's coming here. My only big problem is that, you know, this is starting to get into the top there of wave one on that move up. So gotta be a little careful with that. I wouldn't do anything with this yet. All right, long term, I think you'll be okay, but you can't have your stop too close. And it had a pretty big profit taking, so you would have been probably stopped out of a short-term trade, obviously. So I wouldn't go into it yet. All right, I think it's still coming down. All right, thank you, Eleanor. Okay, let's see. All right, oh, Meta. Eleanor, that's a good one to look at too. All right, good old Facebook. All right, so we got Meta here. All right, I haven't looked at this one in a while. A long retracement area. Okay, so basically, let's open up this chart here first. Okay, the weekly chart. So we had a big pullback already on Meta. So that's, you know, that even went below the COVID low back in 2020, right? That was huge. So now since then it's moved back up. So that's a pretty big move. And I'm going to say that's probably too big of a move down that we had previously to be any kind of wave four. Really, I mean, it's possible, but you're definitely now in a new impulsive wave on the weekly chart, right? The only problem I have here is, you know, when you have a move that's basically straight up, what happens? You get profit taking, and then it goes again. So that's my only problem with this. Is it's if you're in it, great. All right, no reason really to get out of it, but you will have a pullback. How much of the pullback you're going to get on this? Well, let's draw these in here and just make it off this move here. So I'm thinking maybe a pullback is possible to 247 to 196. So that's pretty sufficient, all right, of a pullback. So you may want to exit this if it goes below this pyramid stop right here. All right. Long term, if you're in it, you got to have your stop below here. All right. So because long term, I think you'll be okay, but you're going to have to endure a pullback here. So that's what I think is happening in the markets right now. This is a perfect representation of what I think we're going through. So this is why I think like the NASDAQ and so forth will retrace temporarily, which is what we're seeing, but then rebound. And I think that next rebound, next high that the things like Meta will make and so forth could be the final high on the NASDAQ before we have the big sell-off, okay? So I don't think we're quite there yet. All right, Alexander, let's see what you got here. We got SOXS. Socks. Ooh, that's a good one. All right, so let's see what we got cooking here. All right, I think I see why you like this one. All right, so we got a little rebound here coming. No longer a red PTF here. Okay, but again, target. Where is this thing going? We have bullish divergence. I'm going to call this. Let me just see where this started here. All right, I'm going to give you two targets. One is a realistic short-term target to 39.49 to 58.78. Okay, so that is short-term. Long-term, okay, we could do a bigger retracement based off the weekly chart. Let's see if this is any different. I'll come down here. No, pretty much the same. Okay, not a little less actually. All right, so that's your target. Okay, let me just make sure. Oh, okay, I see what I did. Hold on, my bad. Hold on, let me just move this up here. Boy, I came on the top here. There it is. All right, hold on. All right, so let's move this thing way up here. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think it's going there right now. Okay. So any type of retracement there long term is going to be huge. So go with the shorter term retracement. I'm actually going to put this one down as a buy because you've got a green owl now on the daily. You're going against, I think you're going against a little bit of a red owl on the weekly, but you've definitely got bullish divergence. You're seeing a breakout on this chart here with green and green, and we're starting to get above this level here. So I'm going to put this down as a buy, SOXS. All right. All right, let's take a look at the S down. All right, so bullishness coming back into here as well. All right, and of course, this is the inverse. All right, so there we have that coming up here. So the Dow is not doing as well as the NASDAQ. All right, so it looks like it's actually going to start popping up here a little bit here. So based on that, yeah, this is not looking too bad here. Let's get a target. Just going to play around with a couple levels here. All right, short-term target about 30, 36 to 35. Would have to get well into the target zone to give you a 2-to-1 risk to reward in your favor. Okay, so let's just see what happens if we get one more move up here. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so I think that's the target. So this is kind of, one, I guess we could put this down as a very short term buy, hoping that it gets deep enough into the target for the 2-to-1. So I'll put it down as a possible buy, but this is not my favorite one because it has to get fairly good into the target zone, and it may or may not. We never know that. All right, that's a tough one to figure out exactly. So I'm not sure. The only thing I think maybe I could try to do here, since we've got a pullback that looks like it may be completed, let's just try fun. Oh boy, so we had a pullback, that bottom held 1, 2. Yeah, so that puts that in the lower part of the target. So yeah, all right, I'll put that down as a buy, okay? But I don't think it's going to go up to 33, but you could get 31 or 32. So that's close enough to 2-to-1. Okay, so we'll put that down. All right, SPXU. Let's see what's cooking on that bad boy. All right, so again, another inversey. All right, so same type of thing here. All right, we're seeing bullishness come back temporarily in these on both the S&P and the Dow, not so much on the NASDAQ, right? All right, so there it is on that. And I think, again, target zone here, short term, and then we'll reassess. Let's just put it right there. So, it's 15 to 18. You've got a stop that would have to go at least below here. It looks like that pullback is over. That's green, almost green here, going against this. So cut your trade size a little bit. But it looks like there's your distance of risk. And I'm guessing here. So you need to get into the lower part. I think that's okay. I'll put this down as well. Now, let me just a little bit of food warning. So now we got the S Dow, we got the SOX, the S Dow, and the SPXU, all as recommended short term. So if you go into each one of those, you're taking more risk in one area. So be careful about that, okay? Maybe choose one that you like the best. All right, and all right, your next one is SPXS. I haven't looked at that one in a long time. All right, SPX loading. SPXS? Not sure I know that one. I haven't looked at that. Okay, it's an inverse. Okay, yeah. So it's an inverse on that. Okay, I got it. All right. So again, green PTF on the lower time frames coming up again. Same thing. All right. Same thing. So that's not too bad either. Okay, this is actually a little better because if you put your stop here, about the same, I guess. Has to go into the lower area there. All right, so I'll put that one on there too. Okay, again, we've got a lot of those on there, so just realize that they pick one or two at the most too, so you're not overweighted in that area. But the idea is this is not a long-term trade. Okay, this is one you're taking just to the target zones that we've mentioned here. Okay, great. All right, let's keep going here. All right, GPS. Now, let's see. See what you got cooking there. All right, this is one where we got a target up here, right? Okay, so you're long in options. Yeah, okay, a little bit of pullback right now, but that's okay. You got a green PTF here. So this should be temporary. It should end around 11, maybe at the worst case scenario, and go back up. But I doubt it'll get below 1120. That's where that pyramid is sitting. I think you're okay there. Just hold it. I'm not going to recommend it right now because it's still kind of pulling back a little bit. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Yep. All right. Dell. Boy, I haven't looked at Dell in a long time either. All right. Let's see Dell here for Alexander. All right. So had a good run up on there. And now we got red owl on the daily chart with the green PTF. So it may be going into a 4 here. Let's just take a look and see. Yeah, I'm not going to recommend this right now. Okay, I think we're kind of in a wave 4 on the daily. Long term, we should make more highs. So I think basically what we're looking at here is a move down here and then boom. Okay. Now, interesting here, you got a pyramid forming here. Don't know if you can see that. It's yellow. Let me change that to blue so it's easier for you to see. Let's go pyramids. Take that yellow. Let's make that a blue and apply that so you can see it better. All right, so that's a forming one. That's not been confirmed yet. The prices haven't gone over the point yet. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting. If it went here, then you're going to have the definition of a downtrend in place, and we should hit that target zone. Probably can't go short there because your risk to reward is only 1-to-1. You got to get in really early, and the retracement's got to be deep enough that there's a good profit potential. So the key here is I would basically just wait for the move down and then go in and buy. If you're already in on these pyramids here, your stop is here, so you should be safe during this pullback. Okay. All right, and let's see what else we got. That's Dell. There it is. Okay, Dell and HUT. Okay, for Alexander, HUT. HUT. All right, so still got a little red, Alexander, on this. So we're still, I wouldn't buy yet, but I like the fact that you're looking at this for a possible turnaround, but it's not quite ready yet. Okay, so this is still indicating more lows to come. This is indicating after that happens, if this stays green, then yeah, you want to look for a long position. Okay, so it's not quite ready yet. All right, let's see. Ooh, did we get to the end? Boy. All right, this is a good session. We looked at a lot of stocks. That was over an hour. Now I got an hour and 7 minutes that we were looking at stocks today. You guys are awesome. Okay, that was a lot. So let me just do what I'll do is I'll do a little wrap up here. Okay, and yeah, as Gene says, give us a like. Okay, I got to keep reminding you to do that. Give us a like. But we had a lot of good possibilities here. Now, after I go through the wrap up and go over these possibilities again, I'm going to go and put it on the intraday time frames and put the music on before we close the room, like I always do, because that's always fun. But let me just tell you exactly what stocks we found here. So USO, all right, that was one I shared with you. Okay, I like that one. NDAK. NDAQ. I think Al, that was yours, not sure. SWBI, and then we have a whole bunch of the inverses, okay? We have SOXS, or SDOW, SPXU, I should say, SPXS. So those are all counting on a move down short term, okay, on the S&P and Dow. All right. So try not to do all of those. Pick maybe one or so. All right. You don't want to overextend yourself on any one trade. So do that. Okay. But those are all looking pretty good. Boy, we found a lot. All right. Now, as you know, we run a day trading room. So I like to put the data up so you can see how the software works on intraday markets. All right. And this happens to be the M and Q. All right. So we had a little bottom here. I think probably what we're doing here on this is probably retracing this move here a little bit. All right. And then after this retracement, we should go down again. So boom, boom, that type of thing. So I think this is probably an A, maybe a B and C. Let's have to see. All right. So 3, 4, 5. This time frame is a 1 minute. This is a 5 minute. And this is a 15 second. So a lot different than the other time frames we looked at. Well, folks, thanks so much. Great session as always. I'm going to leave it on here and see if our forecast is correct, but I'm not. It's only going to be for about 5 minutes. I'm going to leave it on for. So again, thanks for coming. Good turnout today, and give us a like. Okay, give us a like. Great to see everybody here. Really is. You guys are awesome. All right, so we'll be back next Friday. All right, and any ones that we put on the watch list, I think we put OKTA. Let's look at that next week, as well as some of the others that I mentioned, and see if things have turned around to make them viable trades again. All right, so have a good one, and we'll see you back here next week. Thanks so much.